The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. It is Monday, November 20th, 2023, man. I am your host, Scott. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarbChairScott. We are here live in Los Angeles, man. We've only got one show this week because of Thanksgiving week, man. We'll be back in 2 weeks on December 3rd. I've got to do some traveling. I'm going to be doing the Monday Night Football game next week for Bears, Vikings, and then going to New York to do some content for you guys to check all that shit out. So we will be back on December 3rd. Full crew will be back. Courtney is not here yet. Not here today. She'll be back next week. Mikey will be back on. Actually, will be on the day. He's running a little late, but he'll be on the day. We have a special guest we're going to bring in just a moment. I'm going to start off with my sound off. My sound off first. My sound off this week, I'm going to say this about the Bears coaching situation. I'm not going to do too much about this because we talked about it on 7 Night and Hallis last night, and we're going to be talking about it in the overtime section of the show. By the way, patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network to check that out. But my sound off is, man, whatever the Bears got to do to get Jim Harbaugh, they need to go ahead and do it. I have seen enough from Matt Eberflus. I have seen enough from Luke Getsy. I've seen enough from all these people. Last night, if I feel like you were even slightly still on the Eberflus train for whatever fucking reason you were on there, that should have been the last we seen of that yesterday. I know there's a whole bunch of scandal things going on with Jim Harbaugh and the whole thing going on in Michigan. We're still waiting for that to play out. We all know that the Bears like having control and not really like paying people 100% of the money that they want, and that might be an issue too. But in order to change the trajectory of this fan base and this organization, you need a coach that comes in here and sets the tone like a Jim Harbaugh. And I feel like the Bears should do whatever it takes to at least get an interview with him and see what exactly is going to happen with that, man. So that's my sound off. I'm going to go in more full detail about that in the second hour, which we're going to now call I'm Not Going to Hold You Overtime. I'm going to bring Dante in here and Bang in here, and we're going to bring our guest. We've got a very special guest today. We've got the one and only Chris D. Lofton. For any of you guys who watch Power, I know I'm a huge Power fan since day one. I've watched all the spinoffs, everything like that, man. He's been in countless other shows. He's been on Ballers. He's been on Snowfall. Also been on the classic Hardball. I feel like you've been in a whole bunch of stuff, man. Also from Chicago, like everybody is on this show. Chris, thank you for joining us. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good. I love that. I like that little intro. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it. You just went through a little resume. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, man, I'm a big fan, man. Been watching your work for a minute. Let's just get right into it, man. The last season of Force just ended. Very crazy finale. Your character Jannard went through a whole bunch of stuff in that season. Like I've never seen somebody get on drugs and shake it that quick, which is amazing to see in the show.
You're funny. For sure though. That was crazy. That was crazy. That's why I tried to play it. I remember when we was doing that, I said the same thing. I'm like, so now I'm just off? I'm just done? I said, so I tried to give moments where it's like, you see me still kind of tripping, tweaking like a little bit, like I'm still I'm playing it like a little, like that shit kicking my ass, but yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
But so I tried to play it like that, but yeah, man, that's kind of how that was. Jannard definitely had his ups and downs, man, and it was fun playing those roller coaster rides. Those ups and downs is crazy. As an actor,
you guys did
fun days.
Yeah, it was real great acting by you, the entire cast. Now, tell me too, because I'm like I said, I'm a massive Power fan. Tell me, like, where do you kind of feel where Jannard and CBI go from here? Because it kind of feels like Diamond really kind of lost his shit towards the end. And I feel like, Tommy is really trying to look at the landscape of realizing who he can trust and who he can't trust. What do you, of course, you can't give up too much. I don't know if you guys got the season 4 information yet, but what can you tell us about where you think Jannard's character is going to go from here with everything happening?
Yeah, like they don't tell us nothing. So that's like another often misconception that we be knowing and we really don't. But I think that Jannard's character, this is like, you drag somebody through the mud, and if they not dead, if they're alive to still talk about it, then you generally got to see them get to the top. That's what I would think. Then I feel like all of that wasn't for no reason to make me go through this, and like the whole season I was just getting shitted on. I was just getting my ass beat and shitted on and slapped around and choked up and threatened and on drugs and jumped and beat up like whole season. So it's like I finally started looking clean again. I had my little chain on, had a nice little leather shirt on, had my girl, got my Lambo back, and then drove away. And then that, I think, sets the tone of where we see from here. And then also, that's why I was happy that, shout out to Gary Lennon, that he added that the scene of me and Diamond giving me a haircut or whatever, because it was more so like all right, both of us are starting over. It was transitional. It was like, all right, both of us, it's all different now. Exactly. And I feel like now we got room to, because now that they established Jannard with that darkness, which was the drugs and all of that, now you kind of have free range. It's like a born again character. I can kind of go either way.
Right. Here's no, go ahead. My fault.
No, that was really it. I'm just saying, I can kind of go either way. Yeah.
Here's a question I had too. I saw on your Instagram that you legendary Robert Townsend directed one of you guys' episodes. Now, of course, he legendary Chicago, 5 Heartbeats, everything, all the great stuff he's done. How was it being directed by him on during this season?
Yeah, that was my favorite. That was my favorite episode, Robert Townsend episode, man, because I was excited. I was definitely excited when he got on, and then me and him became cool. We hung out. We hung out a couple of times while he was in Chicago. We were filming, and even after, when it aired, he called me the next day and was like, "Nah, baby boy, man, nah, man, you did that." The same. He's like, "Man, Shanti slapping you? Oh my God, I still remember." He's like, "I still remember because I remember the whole time. It's just Robert Townsend in Video Village. He's screaming while we filming that scene because she didn't want to slap me." Because we were trying to do it. We were trying to do it where it was fake at first, where, the TV slap, where it's just, stand this far apart and just do your hand like this and go by the face. And we tried that. And it just wasn't working. And I was like, this moment is too pivotal. Like, it has to happen. It has to look real. Otherwise, this is stupid. It just looks stupid if it's not real. I said, so look, I told her name Adrian, who played Shanti, Adrian Walker. I said, Adrian, you're gonna have to slap me. I said, there's no way around it, man. I said, there's no way around. She was like, Chris, I'm not doing that. And she was still worried because she was new this season. So she was like, I'm not slapping you, Chris. She was like, I'm not doing it. No. We'll figure it out. We'll just do the TV slap. It'll be fine. And I let her do it for like 2-3 takes. And I was like, now do you get why you have to slap me for real? Because I said it was terrible, wasn't it? Terrible, right? I made her go to the village and watch it. I said, it looks terrible, right? I said, now will you just slap me? And then now Robert Townsend screaming at village while we filming it. Slap him. Slap his ass, Adrian. Slap his ass. Slap him again. Slap him again. Bro, I took about 26 slaps for that moment.
Damn.
And that's why a lot of those moments that they kept, that shit was real. When I said, oh my God, that was real. Because one of the times he's screaming, so he's hyping her up, right? So everyone, she's doing it more realistic as he's screaming it. She's like, okay, hit him again, slap his ass, hit him again. And then she just lost control, hit me with her forearm, missed the hand and hit me with this part of her forearm right here. And that's when I was like, oh my God. I didn't break character though. I was just like, damn, Shanti. And like I kept it like that and just staying in character. And I said, fuck it. I hope that's the take they use because my mouth is definitely bloody now.
Yeah, it was definitely real. I definitely didn't feel like she had an issue with it when she originally did it because you can feel that through the TV.
Yeah, no, she didn't win. Shout out to Robert Townsend. Speaking of that, to go back to your question, that's all Robert Townsend. If it
Shout
wasn't
out
for
to the
Robert
GOAT.
Townsend, I don't think nobody else could have got her to really take it there the way he did. Because, like I said, he was just yelling, bro. Real life. Slap his ass. Slap him again. Slap his ass, Adrian. I'm like, man. And he was like, no, Chris. He just came running out, gave me a hug, like, you're a trooper, baby boy. He was like, there ain't many actors who would do what you just did.
That's
I'm
dope
like,
as
all right.
hell.
Yeah. No, it's crazy, G. And I know the finale dropped right around the time that the strike officially ended. I know you guys were on strike for over 140 days. What were some of the things you did, to keep yourself busy during that time? And how was it, having a project like Power Out and you can't go out and actively discuss it and promote it?
That shit killed me. I ain't gonna lie. Like for a minute, it was like depressing that I couldn't promote it because I knew what it was gonna be. Like I knew, like, cause I filmed the shit, so I knew. I'm like, no, this season they finna be. Oh man, they finna go crazy about Jannard. Like I know what I did, bro. And I'm like, man, the biggest season of TV of my life, and the first strike in 60, 70 years happens. And I'm like, but I had to look for the beauty in it. And I was like,
Right.
thank God I'm on a show that doesn't really need it. Like, I mean, it'd be nice if I can go out here and go do Breakfast Club and go get on First Take and be talking to Stephen A, doing these interviews and getting some Instagram followers. That'd be cool. But in theory, thank God I'm on a show like Power that it don't really need no promotion. Niggas is gonna watch fucking Power, and that's just what it is.
100%.
And it was like, now some people may not catch on as soon because we're not promoting, so they might not. I used to run into people saying like, oh man, when's season 2 dropping? When's the season 2 dropping? I'm like, nigga, episode 7 is tomorrow. But I can't talk about it because they've been waiting on me to post it. So in their head, they don't really know that it was out. But I think during the strike, I just kept busy by just trying to be creative in other ways. One of my other homies, he an actor too. His name Patrick Cage. He on rap shit on HBO Max right now. He's on, well, not HBO Max. Yeah, is it HBO Max still?
It's a Max.
Yeah?
Just Max.
Yeah, it's just Max now. They took the HBO out. I forgot. It's on Max. yeah. He's on that show, but he also sings and stuff. So I directed his music video. He got a music video. He just dropped a single. And I did my directorial debut on that. Did his his song called Weighted Blanket. It's hard. Y'all should go listen to that. Patrick Cage, Weighted Blanket, and directed by Chris D. Lofton. So I did stuff like that. And I created a brand during this pandemic. I call it a pandemic. Everybody else calls it a strike. It was a pandemic for actors, is what this was.
Right.
This shit was 2020 all over again, but the rest of the world was outside. We was the only niggas in the bubble. That's like so it felt worse. It felt worse this time around, but yeah, I created a whole brand. I've been doing this. Your boyfriend can't cook is my little brand that I created, and I've been running with it.
Yeah, I've been seeing that on the gram a lot. Yeah.
I just left DC. That's why I was in DC. I had a event out there at a steakhouse called Bond 45 in DC, and I like shut down the steakhouse, and I'm in the kitchen cooking and all of that and doing my thing, and I invite people and had it sponsored by some liquor brands and all of that. So I'm going on tour now to different cities doing that in different restaurants and lounges. And I got a cookbook dropping. I got my own seasoning coming, merch. I got a podcast from it, everything. So like, it kind of was a blessing in disguise because I wouldn't have had time to sit down and really do all this shit. I probably wouldn't even thought of it because the checks would have been distracting.
Exactly.
Wouldn't even been using the same creative juices. Like nigga, this was like survival, and it was like nigga, but it ended up being like it was like a light bulb moment because I just like cooking, and I would be cooking at the crib, and I would hashtag in my stories, "Your boyfriend can't cook," and then before I know it, everybody just started tagging it, and like they would be cooking at home and be like, at Chris D. Lofton, hashtag your boyfriend can't cook. How did I do? How's it look? It
became like an organic thing.
Yeah, bro. And then before I knew it, I started to feel like, nigga, it's more people tagging me and shit like this than Power. Like they tagging more about your boyfriend can't cook than like this because they don't even know Power's on right now. But this your boyfriend can't cook. If I slap it in their faces, this is what they gonna think I'm doing right now. And then they'll find out about Power. So then I just was like, man, I just went full throttle and I started writing the cookbook and getting everything together and made the brand, got my aprons made, did everything, bro, and just did that event in DC. And now I got my second one in Atlanta on December 10th. I'm doing it in Atlanta. I'm going crazy with it.
And what I thought that was dope, because I did see that on Instagram, and I saw, that a couple of the stars on Power was there, and it seems like that the show. Damn, we lose him.
I don't know. Hope he didn't. We might have lost him for a minute.
There
we
we
go.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Right.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we.
We got you.
Y'all 1 second.
Yeah, we good.
I'm gonna come back in.
All right, cool. You gonna come back in? We gonna
leave
come
when that
back in.
happens.
Okay, we gonna have him back up here in a minute. Yeah.
That was dope. You Scott with the questions and shit. Look
Nah.
at you.
Somebody in the chat called me Folks Levitar. Let me show that comment real quick. Yeah, Folks Levitar. Okay, I think we got him back. This is
They
all
call
live
me,
television,
and when
folks,
that
as we like
happens,
to
you
say.
gotta go back in.
Yeah.
We got you now.
What?
We got you now.
I got you, JR. You said you saw it on the gram, and what? That's where you left off.
Yeah, so I saw it on the gram, and I saw a couple of the stars from Power was over there with you too. And it seems like that this show, more than anything, it feels like family. Like y'all all hold it down to the point where a couple of weeks ago, I saw a red carpet joint, and somebody had asked Tommy Joseph Sequoia. I think I can't pronounce my man's name, last name, but they asked
Joseph
him.
Sequoia,
Now there we go. I was right then, but they asked him if you were to do a spinoff of this version of Power of Force, who would the story be around? And he said your character. So like, how is it like even hearing that? With somebody who's basically legendary off of this legendary show, basically saying like, hey, we need to tell this story too.
Yeah, no, like shit like that be feeling surreal because I'm still like an overly Power fan myself. Like I still don't know how to turn the Power fan off yet. I ain't got to that point yet. to where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm the nigga on Power now. Like nah, like I be having moments where it's like, no, I'm still a Power fan, and when I hear him say shit like that, it don't be feeling real. It be feeling like an out of body experience. I'm like, that nigga ain't talking about me. He's just saying that. Like, what the, like this don't even make sense. Like what? How? Like where did this? Because it's still new to me. So to hear that, it's surreal, and it feel like a blessing. And it's love though, man. Because Joseph Secor, like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be on the show. Like he vouched for me and didn't know me from a can of paint. He just saw my audition tape, and he stopped them from casting who they wanted to cast. They had somebody else. Fire. Yeah, they had like three other people in mind. It was between, I don't even know if I should say that, but yeah, I know YG was one of the people.
Okay.
Oh hell no.
And Keith Powers was one of the other people that they wanted.
And he too light skinned.
There was one of there was another player involved as well that I was told. I don't know how true that is, but I was told that there was three, and they were about to go in another direction until Joseph saw my audition tape, and then he sent it to 50. Then 50 sent it to Courtney, and then Bob sent it to the showrunner, and then before you knew it, I was on the phone with the showrunner, and he was giving me notes about it to retape it, and then it just went from there.
Have you met anybody? I just want to have one question, man. My fault. Have you talking about how big of a Power fan you are besides Joseph Secor? Have you met anybody from the OG Power? Like, I know I've seen you with Michael Rainey Jr., who plays Tariq, but like, have you met Omari Hardwick or anybody else? I
did a little short film with Omari before. I got a scene with him in a short film called that he did with Megan Good called A Boy, a Girl, and a Dream. And it's funny because that was before Power, and I did a scene with him, like just walking up to him. That was only in one scene in the movie, but it was with him, talking to him. And then like a couple of years later, now I'm in the Power universe. So that's crazy. So yeah, and I know his brother real well, Omari's brother. That's my dog. So yeah, I met a few of those people. I met Holly, she's super dope. Lucy Walters, Patricia, Kate from the original, Tommy's mom. Shane Johnson, who plays sax, that's my boy.
That's fine.
Yeah, I pretty much, Jerry Ferreira, who's Proctor. I've met him multiple times because he's managed by the guy who made Ballers, who's the showrunner of Ballers and Entourage, and the creator of both of those. That's Proctor, Jerry Ferreira's manager. So I'm always around those guys, and they all friends, so they hang out. So I see him a lot. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
That's dope, man. Jerry Ferrara, he has like two of my
That's
favorite
your
roles, two of
man.
my favorite TV shows.
That's your man. That's your man.
Outside of Power, which is in my top 10, but Entourage is my goddamn shit. Entourage
Yeah,
was
that's
nominated
mine
early
too.
damn near.
That's
Yeah.
literally what
Like,
I did. I literally moved to LA because of Entourage.
yeah, well, you feel me then. You feel me 100%.
Literally,
Bang,
I
before I
moved to
cut you
LA.
off, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you
No, you
good.
good.
That's literally the reason. All right, but my fault,
Yeah.
man. Go ahead.
No, you good. So, Power, this force. The one thing that kills me about shows about Chicago is they don't feel like it's Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Power fit like Power. I was worried that it wasn't going to feel like Chicago, but you see the streets. It don't feel like the street names have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you look at the camera work, it feels like the camera people and the directors like really make sure that you see the crib. And then also, like for example, like I noticed y'all was like off Paulina and over there, and I'm like, yo, I know that because my cousins lived in those same apartments that's over there where all of that shit's happening at. And then also bringing in actors from the crib, like of course you, but you know, shouts out to our man Ricky Rampage Cowan, who is like, you know, is basically like my and that's my former student. You know what I'm saying?
Fire.
So it's like, yo, I'm seeing people, you know, from the crib, and it feels very much so authentic, even though you got Tommy coming from New York. So like tell us about how you feel being in a show that's just really authentic crib. Like even saying some of the slangs, like when you killed when y'all killed the old boy, you was like on phone them, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like
bro,
talk about that.
Now I be trying to sneak so much of that shit in, bro, because like like a lot of us, it ain't that many of us from Chicago, like in the main cast. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of our guest stars and co-stars be from Chicago because they want local hires. They generally don't, want to fly people out just if they finna be in 1 or 2 episodes or something like that. They typically don't do that. They'll fly you out if you're gonna be in like 3 or 4 though. But other than that, they try to go local. So we got the chance to make it feel real with a bunch of great local Chicago talent. And that's important to me because like, bro, like I feel like you, like I said, I'm a fan first. Like I love TV and I love film. So it's just like, I wanted that shit to be real too. And I didn't want to be a part of the show that people say ain't Chicago. So I tried to do little things like that. Like, I'm saying on phone them, and I did that every single take, bro, to make sure. I'm like, y'all gonna either have to just cut this completely or you're using it. Like, there ain't no in between. I said it every single time I seen him pick him up and drag him to the water. I just said it in different variations. I said the same thing, but different ways every time. I just wanted to make it slightly comical. Like I wanted to find, and then a lot of the scene, sometimes it'd be hard to stay in the scene when you're not doing a lot of talking and you just standing there. So for me, I try to find like, all right, what are little moments that I could have where it's like, yeah, it's not my scene. This is clearly about Diamond taking care of this baby daddy and low-key coming back into the old Diamond that I know. That's the why of the scene. The scene ain't got nothing to do with you, Jannard. So shut the fuck up and relax. Let him do his thing, right? But find a moment that can just add to the scene. So and to me, that was the moment I was like, you know what? When he started taking them to the water, I'm gonna act so excited like a little kid. I want the little brother in me to come out. I want the little brother, like whatever my big brother's doing, I'm doing it. Oh hell yeah, nigga, on phone man. Let's go. Like let's go right now. Like I wanted to make it like you know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking in my head because in the script there's no words. In the script, it's just Diamond takes him to the water, and Jannard follows him, and that was it.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I added all that.
Yeah. Last question I got for you. I'm familiar outside of the acting. I'm familiar with you with music. You know.
Oh, word! Wow.
Because when we was doing WindyCityUnderground.com, you actually got on me. You're right. You actually got on me. Because
and probably you and Fake Shore Drive.
You went, but you got on me because I was playing the old song, and I was like, "Well, send me some new shit." I never got the new shit, So I know you're doing the cooking. Of course, you're doing the acting. Will you ever jump back into music?
That's funny because my boy is over here right now. The dude Patrick Hayes that I told you on rap shit, he's here right now, and he was just telling me, he was like, bro, like, just come over here. The mic is right here. Just do something. Like, just do it. Like, you don't have to put it out, but just do it. He's like, bro, like you can actually still do that shit. Like, why are you not doing it? But I don't know. Like, I don't know. And what's crazy is now that I really feel like I have the lifestyle to back it up, and I could really do it because like
you
then
really go.
You're really Lambo Loft now. You're really Lambo Loft now.
Like I could really make that shit look like Lambo Loft, and the fact that you said that is crazy. Nigga, you're crazy. You're crazy. But yeah, nigga, like I think about that shit every time. Every day I wake up sometimes and I be like, today's gonna be the day I get these niggas 16. And it just and I don't know, but every day I wake up and I say, today is the day I'm gonna get these niggas 16. And it's so funny that you said that. He's talking about music, Patrick. And I'm just sorry, Patrick. He was like,
look, man.
He called me Lambo Loft.
Hey, look, the one thing that I can say about WindyCityUnderground.com in general is that we touched damn near everything right now. You and Ricky on Power. We got Domity out there doing MTV and shit. We got this right here because Scott was on that mark damn near all the time with all of his music. So it's great seeing the growth and everything that's been associated with you. And I know everybody from the woods and that thing, everybody looking at this shit too. Like, they really excited about this shit as well. So, man, congrats to you and everything you got going on.
I got one last question before we get you out of here, man. This is a sports show, man. We all know Chicago sports is in flux, to say the least. With everything going on with the Bears, the Bulls, I'm not even going to talk about the damn White Sox. To you, what's your kind of like your thought on like the current, I want to say, hell of Chicago sports right now?
Honestly, man, I think all our sports teams right now, we just in a rebuilding stage. Damn near. Except the Bulls. I don't think the Bulls are in a rebuilding stage. They just need to restructure some shit. It ain't necessarily rebuilding. They ain't got to – I don't even think they need to blow up the team, but one of them got to go. They got to pick one. DeMar or Zach got to go. One of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I say personally, I would keep Zach and get DeMar, because I feel like DeMar got more trade value than Zach personally, even though DeMar's old and DeMar's older. DeMar older than Zach, and I just think he plays a slower game, even though I think he's a little bit more consistent than Zach. But I just think that Zach got that flash, and that if he didn't have nobody else who was basically him but a slowed down version in the way, he would go off more. Because when DeMar wasn't there, Zach was going off way more than he goes off now. Because I feel like I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I kind of feel like the issue with Zach to me is like I kind of feel like he don't want to be there no more. Besides that, but I kind of feel like the difference is like there's so much talent with Zach, and I feel like I don't know if in a particular situation that he can really thrive. Like talent wise, I don't even think it's close. I think he's way more talented than DeMar. I just don't know if he fits here with the Bulls long term. Like. And I feel that. Yeah. I just think he a LA dude though, but both of them are, because DeMar from Compton and Zach out here too. They both want to come out here, but I think Zach could do it. I just really think that DeMar clogs his lanes, because even when DeMar when they play him separately and they just use Zach and they go and they sub out somebody, they sub out DeMar and just put Zach in by himself and he run with that other unit. With like a Zach and Kobe White, even though he's way more inconsistent. But if you get like but a Caruso and a Kobe White and a Zach on the floor, it don't clog his lanes as much as when DeMar is there, because DeMar trying to go to that same spot on the floor, the same elbow. He trying to have the ball in his hands and create himself. And Zach need the ball in his hands. He ain't really off ball like that. But niggas like Kobe White and Caruso and all of them, they off ball. You can just hit them. They gonna run off the screens and just get to their spots. Spot up shooters. Zach need the ball, and so does DeMar. They in the way with each other, so one of them got to go. And Vooch ain't even the problem.
Yeah, Vooch definitely. Vooch gets a lot of unnecessary hate, but
yeah, he does. Vooch, a lot of unnecessary hate. Vooch is raw, bro. He was killing shit.
Vooch doing what he's supposed to be doing. I think it's just his kind of game don't really win in the NBA anymore. But you can't get mad at him. It's just we gonna see though. I think in a couple weeks one of them two are not going to be on the team, man. But we appreciate you, man, for coming on, man. Grace us with your time, man. Definitely. Can you let everybody know where to get in tune with you, your brand, everything you've got going on?
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram at Chris D. Lofton. Chris with a K. None of that CH shit. And it's a real Chris D. Lofton on Twitter. Somebody hacked me, so now I had to throw the real in front of there because I'm really not the guy who would put the real, as opposed to what. I had to do that. I was forced to do that. And then Your Boyfriend Can't Cook everywhere on Twitter and Instagram at Your Boyfriend Can't Cook. That's the brand I'm pushing I'm pushing that damn near more than Chris Lofton these days.
Definitely, man. Chris D. Lofton, watch him on Power Force with the streaming on Stars right now, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Love.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to get into our rundown. Dante, you can run the rundown up for us that we're going to be having on today's episode, man. This is the first hour. I formatted a little differently this time, where as far as like how basically the second hour is going to be called overtime, man. So in the first hour, it's going to be kind of like a full show format for y'all. But this we're going to talk about in the first hour. I did my sound off already. We have top observations from the football weekend. We're going to talk about NFL, Thanksgiving, Black Friday preview game. And then we're going to have my Goofy Mog of the week. And then if you want to subscribe to Patreon, patreon.com/Barbershop Network, you get the overtime. And this is what we got on the overtime. We're going to recap Bears Lions. We're going to talk about Ian Rappaport's report on Justin Fields. It sounds like Justin might not be going anywhere, and that Ryan Poles would have to be blown away to draft Caleb Williams or Drake May. We'll get into that. We'll talk about former Bear Martellus Bennett. He went on a tweet rant last night that was very accurate about things going on with the Bears fan base and organization. Then we're going to preview Bears Vikings because we're not going to be on the air for the rest of the week. And then we're going to talk about the Cubs and the Dodgers getting ready for a showdown between each other for the services of Shohei Ohtani. And as I said that, we've got our brother, Mr. Mikey. Mikey is here. What's going on?
Yo, what's
Nigga,
the
what's up
word?
with your hair, fam? You good? You got to a
Man, bro.
the back of that shit just
My shit looking crazy. It's an off week. It's an off week.
It's holiday, man. Holiday week, man.
You look like you ran in that motherfucking chair.
Man, bro, I was stuck in traffic. I got stuck in a last minute meeting at work, and I'm just trying to figure out why the fuck are we in the office this week? There's nobody there. Why are people trying to have meetings? Damn, my shit do look crazy. See? Hold on, man. Let me get it fitted.
Oh man. Bang, shamed him.
Shame the man into getting a hat, bro. That's crazy.
It looked like he had just like ran into the building, jumped in the chair, was like, yo, I gotta get home real quick. Put the headphones on and shit.
This is live television or live streaming, as you want to call it. As Mikey's getting this stuff together, let's get into our first observation of the week. And this is kind of actually funny because this topic got changed a little bit with the announcement that happened a couple hours ago with Mr. Zach Wilson being benched. And Tim Boyle will be the starter on the Black Friday game, or as I like to call it, the Hangover-itis Classic, which will be going on because there will not be a sober bone in my body. There will not be an awake bone in my body when that game is on. I'll be coming off a flight from Los Angeles, and I will be
what time that game
drinking.
Come on?
I think it's like in the afternoon. Actually, it really don't matter what time it is because I'm going to be drunk and eating the whole goddamn day. So it really don't even fucking matter. As soon as Wednesday afternoon comes and I get done recording Cinema with the guys for our Patreon, I'm not doing shit until I got to drive to Minneapolis on Sunday. But now Mikey's back looking like a productive member of society. We both have our Sox hat on. I'm representing the South Side of Chicago, not that organization. But let's get to the first topic. And what Cal said, the game is at 2 p.m. Is that the game? I don't know the time. Is that the game time for the Black Friday game?
For Black Friday, I think so.
It really don't matter. I'm gonna be drunk and sleeping. It really don't matter what time it is. Yeah. So the topic for first observations: who is the worst backup quarterback, starting quarterback in the league? Of course, I think we might have had that question answered with Zach Wilson being benched. But there's also other candidates, man. There's Kenny Pickett. There's Daniel Jones. There's guys like that. I'm gonna start with Mikey first, man. Who gets your vote for who's the worst starting quarterback in the NFL right now?
Oh man, it's got to be between Kenny Two Gloves and Zach Wilson. I mean, I guess we went into the season with Zach Wilson as a clear backup, so we knew his role was defined. It just so happens to be that Aaron Rodgers, tore his Achilles 4 plays into the season. So I'm gonna pivot to Kenny Pickett. He is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
He is fucking terrible. I want to say he had only 4 throws past 10 yards in the first half. He's just bad. He's just bad, and I don't know what the Steelers' plan is, but I think you can look at them as a team that's going to be looking for a quarterback this spring.
I'm gonna go with Kenny Two Gloves as well, man. They only don't shit on him because he's the hometown kid. Let's just be 100% real. And there's one thing I know as a Bears fan, I might not know what a good quarterback looks like, but I know what a bad one looks like. Kenny Pickett is a fucking bad quarterback. First of all, I was already concerned when I saw this motherfucker have 2 gloves on. When have we ever, I think there's only one quarterback I remember who had 2 gloves on who was good, but considering he's also a rapist, that doesn't mean anything. And that was his predecessor in Mr. Bathroom, Ben Roethlisberger. But besides that criminal, I can't name a quarterback who had 2 gloves who was legitimately good. So that was something I saw right away. The Steelers have the record they have right now in spite of Kenny Pickett. Is because of the great coaching, who I feel is the best coach in the league, Mike Tomlin. It's because of that amazing defense and that generational talent that they have in TJ Watt. Daniel Jones is bad, but Daniel Jones still got his team to a playoffs, and actually, I won't say got his team, but that's a stretch. But he won a playoff game he actually played well in. Something I don't think Kenny Pickett is possible of. And motherfucking who else? Mac Jones. Oh my God, Mac Jones is so fucking bad. Mac Jones is the other guy on here who's been benched almost as many times as Zach Wilson. He is single-handedly bringing down Bill Belichick's legacy. He is trash. Zach Wilson is very bad too. But in respect to Zach, he wasn't supposed to be a starter this year, but at the same time, he was also drafted to be a starter. This is a guy they took in front of Justin Fields. And I'm pretty sure they would do that trade back as much shit as. And one thing I would say in overtime too, I saw somebody say you can get a number 1 pick for Justin Fields. If you can get a first round pick for Justin Fields, that means that maybe you should keep that motherfucker. So there'll be a lot of teams, including the Jets, who I don't know how much long Rodgers has with that barbecue ass Achilles, who will probably want him, man. But I'm gonna put in my vote for Kenny Pickett. Bane, who you think is the worst QB in the NFL?
As we sit this year, right now at 5:41 Central, 6:41 Eastern time, is the man who leads the NFL in pick sixes, and that's Bryce Young. Bryce Young is ass right now, fam. I don't know if it's the team. I don't know if it's him, but he's ass. He can't do shit right now. And at least Kenny Pickett has the luxury of having a good defense and, a fairly decent running game if Warren is at your running back. But Bryce Young is ass. It don't help that that CJ Stroud is out here looking spectacular and shit. But that's who's gonna get my pick right now. Like everybody else who I would have picked has already been benched or injured. So, speaking on who's playing right now, it's no question it's Bryce Young.
Dante, where you going with this?
I can't say Bryce G. I got to go with Zach Wilson. It was either going to be Zach or Mac Jones because, like you said, they both are terrible. But with Zach Wilson, he's been consistently terrible since he got there in New York. And it's something that hasn't changed even under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers. Like you said, he wasn't expected to be a starter, but at the end of the day, you've been a starter before. So when you get a chance to go back in there, I expect way more to you than what we got because what we've got is he's played terrible football and, the Jets have won in spite of him. And so he had that one game, and it was crazy because after that one game, everybody was saying, oh, well, if Zach can do this every Sunday, the Jets are on or something. And we've clearly seen what he can do. And so I think that's one guy. He's had everything around him. It's not like other quarterbacks where you don't know, what the coaching is. It's been stable. And they put weapons around him. You had the offensive rookie of the year. You got a good running back. You got more weapons because you thought you had Aaron Rodgers, but the weapons are still there. He's just not utilizing them. So I think, without question, it's Zach Wilson.
I
I
got an
think
honorable mention. I got an honorable mention too. We can't forget about Desmond Ritter, and
we definitely can't.
Yes.
we cannot forget about his bum ass, and we cannot forget about Gardner Minshew. My thing with Gardner Minshew though is he was pressed into action as a backup because of because of the injury to Anthony Richardson, but he's keeping the Colts afloat. Like
You ain't have to
they're
post that, my nigga.
they are still moving the games. They're still moving the ball.
Shout out to Kyle in the chat said Dante favorite player Desmond Ritter. Shout out
Fuck
our
out of
guys.
here.
Shout out our guy Jared on King's Landing. That's his man's.
Man, that's his boy.
That
That's
motherfucker
his boy.
suck. That
All
motherfucker
Air yards
season.
don't matter.
Yeah, he was comparing him to Justin. No, my nigga. No.
Hell no.
Let's go to our next observation of the football weekend, man. Mr. Danger Russ Wilson. This dude is back. This dude, it was as back as he possibly can be. I don't think he's ever going to be what he was in Seattle, especially not without Pete Carroll. We see how Pete Carroll has got Geno looking out there. But he's doing pretty good, man. Big clutch win last night on Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. Big-time defense, by the way. More than anything, that defense, Vance Joseph, you got to give him some credit. This is a team that gave up 70 fucking points earlier in this season.
Right now.
Yeah, he should be fired right now. He came back, got back into it. Sertan, everybody on that secondary been balling. But Russ went for 27-35, had 259 yard passing, at 259 passing yards. One touchdown last night, and that was a game winner to Cortland Sutherland. It was a nice ball in the corner of the end zone. And on the season, he's got 2,095 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, man. Dante, what you see from Russ, man? Is he back, or what do you think? Does this change the trajectory of where the Broncos are going?
I love what I'm seeing from Russ, and I think that most importantly, this is what happens when you put a quality quarterback with a quality offensive-minded head coach. I wish teams that I follow would do shit like that, but no, I think bringing Sean Payton in really helped revitalize his career, and that's really what it was. The previous regime, as much as people hated the way Sean Payton took shots at him, they really didn't work to Russell Wilson's strengths. And so this year, I know he's not injured. I think that also plays a big factor into, he had the shoulder injury last year, but he's 100% and he's with a coach that believes in him and has him out there really, moving the ball. He's not turning the ball over. I think he only has 4 interceptions while still being top 3 in touchdowns in the league. So definitely a redemptive story. And I think he'll definitely win comeback player of the year at this point. But I think more than anything, like I said, bringing Sean Payton in and having him a quality coach with a quality quarterback, that's what you need in this league, and that's what we've seen, and that's what they got.
Mikey, what you think about Russ?
Nah, he's hooping. And we were talking about it last week. We haven't seen him really stretch the field with the deep ball this season. He's become more of an intermediate passer, but it's working, and you have to give credit to, I give credit to Sean Payton. I'm not really a big Sean Payton guy, not really a big Sean Payton fan, but he definitely has them on the right track. The defense is balling. I mean, Kareem Jackson, he was just announced suspended another 4 games this year for the hit that he had.
Which I don't like, man. Kareem is keeping the feeling. That's real ball. That's real hoops.
That's a Hall of Fame DB if he's playing in the 80s and the 70s. So you got to give kudos to them. I mean, and we always bring it back to the Bears, but the Bears had them on the ropes. The Bears had them up, and ever since that game, they turned it around. So kudos to them, and I think they're now going to be I don't know. Their offense still doesn't put up enough points for me, but they have a defense that can travel, and going up there to Mile High is tough. So we'll see how they do in December, and if they can get a playoff spot.
We've been talking criticism of quarterbacks. Of course, we talked about Josh Allen on the Friday show, and that clip is up right now on the YouTube if you want to check that out. Bang, what do you feel about the criticism that Russ has been getting? And, do you think this will kind of shut people up? I kind of feel like nobody's talking about it. I'm not going to lie. Even I didn't know he had 19 touchdowns, so I looked it up this week. What you think about Russ and his play the last couple of weeks?
See, that's because you don't be watching network television. You be trying to stay away from that shit. But it's been a couple of folks in the morning, man, that's really been singing the praises of Russell. But and this is it's not going to be a rant on this show officially.
Go ahead.
I think shows need better producers. because a lot of these show producers go with the same narrative. That's why you hear the same narratives on TV. So if you really looked at the stats of Russell Wilson, he wasn't necessarily having a bad season. The team started off bad. So you have that there. And look, I mean, people fall off when you get out of different situations. But I heard somebody say earlier today, that if they win their next game, that Russell Wilson should be in MVP conversation and Sean Payton should be in the Coach of the Year conversation too.
It's a little much.
Right, very much so. We are in a world of overreacting. With that being said, it's modest, so it's cool, right? Let's see what happens when they go against the top teams in the AFC. Because and people might be like, wait, hold on, but you got to remember when Russell Wilson got to the team, even though it was Nathaniel Hackett, they were still saying Super Bowl or bust for the Broncos, and then they were damn near about to have a fire sale on the team. They was ready to trade both wide receivers. They was about ready to do stuff, make some changes on the defense, and they actually did with letting go of Randy Gregory and I forgot my man name, Frank Clark.
Chubb? No.
But they talked about Chubb too, reportedly, allegedly. They was ready to go on a fire sale, and they didn't. So I'm going to hold off, giving the full love. But anytime that you see a team come back the way that they have, you got to give them some kudos. I just want to see what happens towards the end of the season before I start, throwing stuff out there, because they 2 games away from having a 2-game losing streak. So,
well, I mean, you bring up some good points. I'm looking at their schedule right now. Next week they play the Browns in the Mile High. This, of course, would be what's my man DTR? That's how you put it.
Dorian Thompson Robinson.
Yeah, DTR had a decent game last night. It led the Browns to a win. Then they go to Houston to play CJ and them boys, and then they go to the Chargers to play Justin Herbert. And Herbert is fed up with them niggas after what I saw yesterday. That nigga's losing it.
He was Joey Bosa. And Joey Bosa on the IR.
He's going on IR. Well, what's the exact injury? Is
a sprained foot?
It's a foot.
What I just read, it was a sprained foot.
Okay, he's going on IR right now. That's 4 weeks, or that's the end of the season. I think it might be the end of the season for him. I don't know.
It might be the end of the season for him. Once I saw him crying, I was like, it's got to be something fucked up. By the way, that's the crime we approve, not that shit that Fingernail Boy be doing. But anyway, I digress. Mental health matters.
Mental health matters. Dante, I heard that clear shot at DeMar Hamlin when you said that Russell Wilson could be comeback player of the year. Goddamn well that's his award.
I mean, if they can put my man on the field, he might get a shot. Like, he would have been a shoe-in.
We add a new segment called Asshole Dante.
See, but y'all think I'm trying to be an asshole? I was dead serious. I picked a man to win, hit a game-winning interception. Gee, he don't even see the field, bro. I'm about to make a call. This is some bullshit.
When Dante says some asshole shit, it be real low key. You gotta pick it. It's real stealth. It's not out there like when I do it. Like, you got there's some people who saw our PSA and thought we were serious. Like, that's how good Dante is.
Hey Scott, this is really big game.
Hey, that mean it worked.
They got Travis Kelce. On countdown. He walked up and took a mic and shit. Okay, this is big fight feel tonight.
This is like Goldberg versus Kevin Nash on Raw, nigga. It's Goldberg versus Hogan. Remember they did Goldberg versus Hogan on Nitro?
On regular TV, nigga.
On regular TV, this is what that is. You've never seen a Monday Night Football matchup this big in like a long time. But to close up my Broncos point, man, they play the Chargers, then they play the Detroit Lions, and then they play the Patriots, the Chargers again, and they close up in Vegas against the Raiders. So there's not any games on here to me that like outside of like Houston that I'm like 100% gonna be like that's a lot. In Detroit too, but yeah, I'm gonna ask Bane this question. It's off topic. Okay. Did anything from that game last night raise your antenna about the Lions? Like, it might be a little softness here.
Look, I'm still gonna share my picture. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody give a damn about the Detroit Lions, fam. And to hold it down and wait till later, I'm just gonna say this: Detroit should have not been in the position that they was in against the Bears. So if I was any team in the NFC, that's looking at that game. Oh, you can get the number 1 seed all you want to, but we're gonna come to Detroit and we're gonna whoop y'all ass. Simple. Hey,
I will say this, and we'll of course we'll get into this into the second hour. But I kind of looked at it like, okay, part of me is like they just weren't taking the Bears seriously, and the other part of me is like, oh, there's still some old Jared Goff in them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Still
yeah,
some
you
old
could,
Jared
you
Goff
could.
in them.
That's the only thing I really took from it. And we were talking about it in the group chat. I said, man, the Bears could definitely get them after, an emotional victory in LA where they came back, because you going in, you double-digit favorites against a terrible Bears team, Justin Fields coming back after not playing for a month. I just think they were sleepwalking. And then Jared Goff can still be tricked. He does not do well playing against the Bears, and he's been doing that since back against when he was with the Rams. So we'll see.
More of that will break down in the second hour, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. Shout out Dante with the producer moves. Patreon.com/Barbershop Network. If you want to watch, I'm not gonna hold you overtime. Let's go to my next observation of the week. Speaking of teams that fail in crunch time, the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones. I have no problem with people holding on long grudges. I really don't have a problem with that shit. He held it for a long time. He finally let it go, and he will be inducting legendary Football Hall of Fame coach Jimmy Johnson into the Cowboys Ring of Honor on December 30th. His old ass was on the podium and said 1923 instead of 2023, and Jimmy had to correct him in classic Jimmy Johnson fashion. I think this is great. I feel like, y'all know my thoughts on Ring of Honors. I feel like the Bears should have a Ring of Honor because there's so many people on the Bears and that who are not going to be Hall of Famers or who just were important to the organization. Now, granted, Jimmy Johnson is a Football Hall of Famer regardless, but I just like how they're doing that. Finally giving him his flowers, man. Dante, I'm going to go to you. What do you feel about this decision? Of course, it's long overdue with this thing. Do you think there'll be some type of, I don't want to say bond or friendship between the two, but do you think we'll see more of Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson being a little closer here on out?
I don't know about that, but you'll see more Jimmy Johnson at Cowboys events. I think this is one of the big last, final points of contention with the two. They had their issues, which I think was definitely, like you said, more so from Jerry's side than Jimmy. Jimmy didn't really do nothing wrong to the man. But, as we know about billionaires, they don't like really being told about themselves. So Jerry, like you said, as he had his right as his team, he held the grudge for this long, but I mean, it's long overdue. The Cowboys Ring of Honor is one of those Ring of Honors in sports that, really means something. A lot of people take a, like I said, it means something. And other teams, they all jumped on it. But when you're in that Cowboys Ring of Honor, that's special. So Jimmy deserves it. The last one to take them to a Super Bowl. And part of the reason they are America's team is Jimmy Johnson. So one of the greatest coaches in football history when you go to college and the pros. So, I mean,
can't forget his time at the U. Can't forget his time. Jimmy has one of my favorite quotes. I saw this on the Cowboys Americans game. He's like, "You let the mind control the body, and not the body control the mind." I love that quote. We're gonna go to a bang. Bang, what you think about Jimmy and Jerry stopping their old nigga beef?
Nigga, the curse is over.
So Mike should be happy.
Nigga, I text Mike. The curse is over. And he didn't hear the news yet. So he was like, "What you mean?" And then when he saw it, he was like, "Oh yeah, look, man." And I'm not bullshitting. I really think that even though they did win a title after Jerry Jones, like, I think that the continuation of messing with Buddy really kind of messed things up, some karma for the team. And I think this is the make up for that. So I would not be shocked or surprised if the Dallas Cowboys represent the NFC in the Super Bowl because of this.
Oh, we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that in our sneaky season.
I would not be shocked. But no, I think it's only right, man. Like, there's certain people that's synonymous with teams. And even though Jerry Jones spent time in Miami and had some fairly decent success, he's a Dallas Cowboys. He's how about them Cowboys. He made the trade that was probably one of the more shrewd trades in NFL history and got you basically every goddamn player who was a key component to those Dallas Cowboy championships. You have to honor that man. You have to give him his flowers. It's to the point where if Tom Landry has a statue, Jerry Johnson should have a statue too. I know that Jerry Jones is not going to go that far, but he should. That's how important he is to that franchise. So it's about damn time that Jerry Jones has done what he's did to bring Jerry Johnson back into the fold. And I think that the good karma is going to come to the Cowboys because of it.
Mikey, what you feel about this?
Shit, from when I seen Courtney text this, I had to do a little research. I was looking at this skeptical. I'm like, is one of these motherfuckers dying or is somebody sick or Jerry Jones, they about to catch him on some Diddy shit? Like, why he doing so well? Why he being nice all of a sudden? I was really skeptical of it, but I mean, I think it's cool when you always honor, the greats of the past for your franchise, especially, a head coach like a head coach like him that they want to, they won with and they had success with. So, it's pretty cool. It's still fuck the Cowboys on this side, but, that's really good for him.
Definitely, man. Shout out to them, man. We need a Ring of Honor. Bears need a Ring of Honor whenever you do open up that fucking arena in 2056 when it comes.
That's the first thing. That's the first thing coming as soon as.
And we could put Officer Presbo, aka Peanut Tillman, in the Ring of Honor. He get his little joy.
It's gonna be 26 niggas in there on day one. Like that's
right. Day one.
And them niggas gonna be like the WWE Hall of Fame when they announced that shit, and the first person that was there was Andre the Giant. Them niggas gonna announce that Wall of Fame, the ring, however they want to put it, and they gonna announce that shit with a George Halas statue, and how he's the first member of the Chicago Bears Hall of Fame. What?
They gonna get this nigga 2 statues? This nigga got one outside soldier. They gonna get this nigga 2 statues?
They gonna rebuild. They gonna rebuild that. They didn't want to put that motherfucker out there in the first place.
They gonna put the old lady. They gonna put the old lady Virginia out there smiling and shit. Her fur coat. Her fur coat.
I'm gonna put a disclaimer on here again. I do not mean anything that's been said right now. Anyway, let's go to next. We got 2 more observations from the football weekend, man. Brock Purdy said he got his swagger back, man. We've been I feel like we've been pretty protective of Brock Purdy. I think all of us have been like, either this is who he is or he is going through a rough patch. I don't think any of us really lost our shit on Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy last night, nice win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brock went 19 for 22, had 315 yards passing, 2 for 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and had a perfect 158.3 passer rating, and he's the first Niners quarterback to do this since Steve Young. Steve Young and the second best quarterback that ever lived, Joe Montana, were also in the same range, man. I think for Brock, this is big. And the reason I say it's big is because I feel a lot of people, I'm not going to not include myself before Mikey says you too. A lot of people, include myself, we're not buying what people were selling when it came to Brock Purdy over this last year. But I think this dude is a good quarterback. I don't know if he's a championship quarterback. I don't know if he's going to do these things in the playoffs. But I think he's a good quarterback, and he's making the most out of Kyle Shanahan's system. We can sit up here and say, oh, they have all these different weapons. That's fine. Why didn't Jimmy G do that? Like, why wasn't Jimmy G playing as well as Brock Purdy? We all know that Jimmy G went to the Super Bowl with this team, but that was mainly that defense. It was mainly that running game. If you even remember in that NFC Championship game, I don't even think Jimmy G threw the ball 9 times in that particular game. So I think what we're seeing from Brock Purdy is a guy who went through a rough stretch through the last couple weeks, and he's bounced back these last 2 games. And that's for if you're San Francisco, you're feeling really good about that because you're starting to get your guys healthy. Debo's back. You just got Brandon Ayuk is taking it to another level this year. He's becoming Debo's equal damn near. You still got George Kittle, and defensively, it's hard to score on these guys. To me, they're top 3 defense in this NFL. Not as scary as Cleveland. Cleveland's defense scares the shit out of me. Them old school Bear defenses, but they've got something going on. As long as Brock Purdy is playing as well as he can, it's gonna be hard to see somebody outside of the Niners coming out of the North, man. I mean of the West, man. I'm gonna go to Bang first. Which you like from the way Brock Purdy has bounced back?
It's good. I'll say that it's good when you get everybody healthy back. Debo back, Trent Williams back. So you ain't getting touched. So I think if somebody like him, you need everybody around you to make you better. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is not him, because I said to you on this show that I think that he's probably a top 10, top 15 quarterback. But like you just put on that screen, that's the Trent Williams effect. That man right there is cold, and he ain't gonna let nobody touch Brock Purdy. So as long as you got them and he's healthy, that team's gonna be okay. So, get him back, and that's what happened.
Mikey, you've been a disciple of Brocktober since it started. What you feeling about Purdy bouncing back?
I think it was a perfect recipe. If you were paying attention, if the guys were paying attention, everybody was paying attention to our breakdowns last week. I said that the Buccaneers allow the seventh most big plays to quarterbacks through the passing game. They allow the most yardage to quarterbacks in the passing game. So it was the perfect script for Brock to get right after a tough stretch. I think he is a solid quarterback. I mean, he played in a big conference in the Big 12. He had some big moments. Obviously, he never really won nothing. Was never highly regarded as like a Trevor Lawrence or a Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, some of the bigger name college guys that came out in the last couple of years. But for a 7th round pick, it's expected to go through growing pains. But we're seeing what the Shanahan system can do for a quarterback like that with talent that just needs a little bit of seasoning, just needs a little bit of tweaks to his game. So they have an explosive offense. I know they lost another key player yesterday on defense in their safety. He got his fucking ACL juked out of the stadium. But I think the Niners are in a good spot as anybody in the NFC.
Dante, what's your take on Mr. Purdy?
Yeah, bro. I think everybody said it pretty well. He's in a great system with a great coach, and he's been coached up, and his talent is taking over. And so this is what happens when you have an offense full of the weapons that they have, and that's why you're better served to just have as many weapons as possible around your young quarterback, as opposed to getting a young quarterback and trying to force them to make shit happen. And so, with Purdy being, like you said, the last man, Mr. Irrelevant, he's been coached up since day one by Kyle Shanahan, and he's taken to that offense. And with those weapons around him, he just has to execute. I know that's easier said than done. We all know how difficult the quarterback position is, but he executes the offense damn near to perfection. And like you said, Trent Williams, that matters, bro. Like they always it's old school, and I don't like a lot of old school sayings, but the game is really won in the trenches. So if you solid up front, your quarterback can sit back there and actually run the offense with some consistency, and that's what Purdy's been able to do. And now that everybody's back healthy, it's just a matter. I think, I agree. I think the Niners are the best team in the NFC.
I think tonight's Monday Night Football game is a prime example of that. Two teams who are in the Super Bowl. Both teams are stout up front, defensively and offensively, man. So I definitely shout out to Trent Williams, man. Let's get to our last observation. This one is a good conversation, man. We are officially in what I like to call the real part of the NFL season. This is where real football is being played. Everything that happens in September and October, of course, it matters, but it don't really matter. This is like in baseball when September comes, in the last month, kind of like after All-Star break in the NBA, where we start to see separation. One thing about the NFL that's different from the NBA is you can be a wild card team. You can be one of those teams at the bottom of the standing in the playoff, in the hunt season, I like to call it. Who do y'all like? Maybe it could be one team or a couple teams who y'all feel that are in the, I'll say, outside of the top 3 in each conference, who you feel like can be a threat to make a large run. I'm gonna go first with this one. I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what Bang said. I might regret this in a couple weeks. I'm feeling the Dallas Cowboys, man. I'm feeling the Dallas Cowboys. The reason I say, if you look at the 7 right now in the NFC, of course, the top 3 is Philly, Detroit, San Francisco. That's not the way I would have it ordered. I think you still have to have Philly number 1. I would say San Francisco number 2. Then I would say Detroit number 3. New Orleans is only there because they're in a weak-ass division. They're going to get a home game because division winners are supposed to have home games. And not to have anything wrong with that. I think if you win the division, you should get a home game. It's just fucked up when bad divisions do have home games. So then it goes to my last 3. You got the Dallas Cowboys, you got the Seattle Seahawks, you got the Minnesota Vikings. I think Minnesota Vikings, the Joshua Dobbs story is cool, and I think Joshua Dobbs is a solid quarterback, and he might be their long-term quarterback. I don't see enough from that team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe think they can make a large run. Seattle, I was big on Seattle early in the season. They've kind of come down back to earth this week. I'm really interested to see how they're going to play in the Thanksgiving night game on the road at Levi Stadium against the the San Francisco 49ers. That game's going to tell me a lot. But I'm circling the Cowboys because the Cowboys, to me, you talk about Dante old school sayings, and I don't know if this one's 100% correct anymore, but defenses do win championships. They got a great defense. They got Michael Parsons, everybody over there, and Dak has been playing good football. We had my cousin Dan on here a couple weeks ago, and he was like, yo, we need to start giving Dak more credit. I don't think the issue with Dak was playing well in the regular season is what can he do in the playoffs. And I think if there's any year that they could possibly make a run and make it scary for those big three teams, especially Detroit. Like, I know Detroit is having a better year than them, but if Detroit is playing Dallas in a playoff game in Ford Field, I'm going with Michael Parsons. I'm going with Dak. I'm going with the Cowboys because as good as the Lions are, they have not been in this situation before. Even if they play at Philadelphia, that is a division game. And that'll be their third time playing. Every time you play a division opponent in the playoffs, who the fuck knows what's going to happen because you play these guys so long. So I would have to say Dallas will probably be a team that I've got on my sleeper list or, somebody who I feel like could make a deep run, especially because they're as under the radar as they're possibly going to get being the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to go to Dante first, man. Dante, what's the team in the NFC? And then we'll go to AFC as far as who we think are sneaky.
I don't think it's sneaky, but I agree with your Cowboys pick. If you're talking about strictly in terms of outside of the top three, because those other teams, I really don't think is much. I don't want to say hope out there for them, but the Vikings, like I said it last week, all of that good story shit, it always comes back to reality eventually. So the whole Joshua Dobbs thing is cool, and I do think he will keep them serviceable. They will probably make the playoffs just because our division is that weak. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, outside of the Lions, our division is that weak, so they'll be that second. They'll make that second playoff spot. But the rest of the teams, when you look at the teams that are on the bubble, you got a lot of teams that are 4-6. Don't trust the Falcons. Don't trust the Bucks. The Packers are 4-5. So I don't. So out of all the teams below that top three, you can't help but go with Dallas.
Bang, let me go to you. Who you got? Are you still with us on the Cowboys, or you gonna go another way?
Yeah, no, it's the Cowboys here. Just looking at the conference standings, Eagles is the number 1 seed. The Lions are the number 2 seed, and the 49ers are the number 3 seed. And what's crazy is because of division, the Saints are the 4th seed. So you look at the Cowboys, it's no question it's them. I have no faith in the Seahawks or Minnesota, and I just noticed something that just made me even more irritated about that Detroit game. And when it comes to the Bears, with seeing the standings and how they look.
Which is why you guys need to tune into overtime, because we really going to get into that.
I really just did not notice that until just right now. Wow. With that being said, yeah, it's the Cowboys. There's nothing else to say.
Mikey, we going to make it a clean sweep here.
Yeah. I've been on them. I've been on them heavy. Especially if you just look at the way the season is going to play out. If they stay in the 5 seed, unless the Eagles have a collapse here in the next couple weeks, where they give up the NFC East to the Cowboys, then the Cowboys are in prime position to play the winner of a lowly NFC South team. So whether that's Saints or the Bucks, Bucks, or Falcons, it probably will be the Saints. So that's a perfect matchup. Then you play the 5. The 5 will play the 2. So we're looking at if the standings hold the Lions. I'm with you, Scott. I'm going to ride with Dak Prescott, and I'm going to ride with Michael Parsons and that defense. That defense will travel well to Ford Field. We already know Cowboys fans will travel wherever this game is at for a playoff game. So in the NFC, I don't really see any upsets there. I see if you're looking for a wild card team, it would definitely be the Cowboys. I like Seattle, and I like their brand of football. I like the way they play, but Geno's banged up. Kenneth Walker's banged up. They lost some people in the secondary. So now it's going to be tough sledding. If Cooper Kupp wasn't hurt, the Rams could kind of be sneaky, because if you anticipate a Vikings drop off and the Rams maybe being able to win some games here with Matthew Stafford back, then that might be something to watch. But I think it might be a little too late for them.
I was gonna do the Bears thing and say what about the Packers, but I just took a glance at them niggas' schedule. They got Detroit on Thanksgiving, then they got the Chiefs. Yeah,
they're gonna get sent to God.
Yeah, they're going to get sent to God. Let's talk about the AFC. And then after we do the AFC, I'll do my Goofy Mog of the week, and we'll be done with the first hour. The second hour, I'm not going to hold you overtime. We'll be on the Patreon. AFC, man, is a little different because I feel like AFC actually has a little bit of a race from seeds 3 all the way down. Like we have an actual competition. I feel like the 7 in the NFC are set. It's just a matter of what seeds they're going to be. Jacksonville 7-3, Miami 7-3, Cleveland 7-3, Houston 6-4, Pitts 6-4, and that's the 7. I'm going to say I kind of have like a 2-part answer for this with the AFC. If you want to say sneaky team, I'd say Houston. I'd say Houston sneaky team. They're 6-4. CJ had a bad game last night, but what I love what he said Steph Curry keeps shooting, he missed threes. I'm gonna do the same shit. There's no worry in my body that he's gonna regress or anything like that. They got a big matchup against the Jaguars next week. They play the Texans. They play the Broncos, and they play the Jets, the Titans, Texas again. So they got like a decent schedule. I feel like they're still gonna get some wins here. But if I had to go off a team that I wouldn't want to see, I'm gonna say Buffalo. Just because that's a team, if you're like Jacksonville, right? Let's just say Buffalo, and I do feel that Pittsburgh will drop. I think they're going to drop. Buffalo get a 6 seed, Jacksonville, home game, in Duval. As much shit as we talk about Josh Allen, you don't want to see them boys in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Now you look there, they're going to take the underdog route because they're like, oh, now we're not one of these top 2 seeds. All this pressure's on us. That's a team that I would not want to see. Anybody else, I would have said Cincinnati, but Joe Burrow's out for the rest of the year. Denver could be sneaky if they can win a couple more games. But for right now, I'm gonna say Buffalo, man. I'm gonna go to Bang, man. What you think about the AFC?
Since you said Buffalo, which was gonna be my pick, I don't want us to be all on one accord like it was in the NFC. So I am going to pick the Denver Broncos. I think you have a Super Bowl experienced quarterback. You have a Super Bowl experienced coach. You have a defense that's much improved right now. And then the weather is about to be the weather. I wanted to pick the Browns. I really did because during the playoffs, defense wins championships. But I just don't trust the offensive side of the ball. If Nick Chubb would still be healthy, I would have picked the Broncos. That's how much I believe in that defense where if you just get 17 points, you're going to win this game because of that defense. But with that being said, we're not going too close to the top by picking the Miami Dolphins because they sit at 4 right now. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos.
There we go. I'm unmuted now. Mikey, what you think about the AFC?
For sake of not being in unison, I'm actually gonna ride with the Indianapolis Colts, man. They're right there. They're right there on the brink. I like their style of play. They're gonna run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. They have a nice wide receiver one in Michael Pittman, who is very underrated. I like what they're doing defensively, and their schedule lines up. I mean, they're right on the bubble, right behind the Bills. They're at 5-5, and the rest of the way they're looking at. Let me bring it up. I just had it right here, but they have the Colts. They have the Bucks coming up next week. That should be a winnable game. Let me see. I had it right here. So they got the Colts, the Titans, the Bengals, Steelers, Falcons, Raiders, Texans. They are in prime position where they can win all of these games. They should, or not all of these games, but they should be all of these games. And then when you have the Bills on top of them, the Bills have a very tough week. It was a huge win for the Bills yesterday and Josh Allen to get their confidence back. They had a lot of stuff going on up there with the firing of Ken Dorsey, Courtney, coming for Josh Allen's head. But after this week, or after today, they have the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots, Dolphins. Those next 3 games are going to decide the fate of their season. Yep. So I think you can go with the Colts and the Broncos. I think they will eventually supplant the Steelers. And I think the Browns, the Browns defense is going to carry them for as long as they can. But I don't know how long they can get away with not really putting up anything offensively. So I'm going to ride with the Colts. I think they could be sneaky, a sneaky wild card team.
That's an interesting pick, man. Dante, we're going to close this up with you.
My sneaky pick is a team that I think I'm all in on CJ Stroud. I'm going with the Texans. I think the Texans obviously not go to the Super Bowl, but I think they could definitely knock somebody off first round. And I think it's mainly because of CJ Stroud. I think, we've seen that he's not shaken by the big moments. He hasn't played like a rookie, and I think that's going to continue. And I know, college football is different, but, just you saw in the college football championships. He shined in the biggest moments. So I think that's somebody he's going to continue to carry that team, continue to lead that team. And we're going to see that he is, truly I know it's early, so I ain't going to say top 10, but he's clearly a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, and he's trending up. And I think the Texans are going to be that team to make it to the playoffs.
Definitely, man. Definitely gonna be interesting to see these next couple of weeks, man. That concludes our football recap. I'm gonna give y'all my Goofy Mog of the week. And then we're gonna wrap this show up before we get ready to do overtime, man. Monday Night Football will be kicking off in about an hour. If you want to see our preview for that preview is currently up on the HMB Media YouTube right now. You can check that out as me, Mikey, and Dante preview tonight's big Super Bowl rematch. But my Goofy Mog of the week, I'm going to give to an NBA player on my favorite team, a team that gave me my love of sports, and also a team that made me as apathetic as I am about my current sports teams. And that is not the madhouse on Madison, the mediocrity on Madison. That is the Chicago Bulls and their quote unquote leader. And I use that with the biggest air quotes of all fucking time, Zach LaVine. Zachary, after putting up a bum ass 13 points on Friday night, oh, what's a Saturday? I don't remember. Some day this weekend against the Miami Heat, they were down 20 points. I wasn't watching the game, but I saw Mikey put in the group chat the score, and I was like, these niggas have one American point. Halfway through the fucking first quarter, the Bulls did the thing that the Bulls always do, which is they start off like shit. They get down by 20, 25 points, and they make a fake run, and 9 times out of 10, they lose the game. They did not lose this game as DeMar DeRozan did what DeMar's done since he's been in Chicago, and that is dominating the fourth quarter. Did his thing, 25 points, game-winning shot. Bulls won. And while this happened, Zach LaVine stormed off the court, ignored Bulls PR, and went straight to the fucking locker room. Now, if this was a loss, if they'd actually lost this game like they probably should have, I probably have no problem with this. He's already frustrated with everything going on with the Bulls and not winning and taking heat. And we all know he doesn't have the best relationship with head coach Billy Donovan. But to do that, coming off a win, a big win that you guys had, like you niggas have not won a lot of games. I think that was that 5th win, a 20-point win at home, and you already agreed to that interview. By the way, these interviews with PR are sent in pre-game, and players usually approve. To walk off like that, there was a couple things I saw from this, man. I am not happy with Zach LaVine. I'm not going to sit up here and act like this is Zach LaVine's fault for this organization, this team being where it is. No, this fault falls squarely, mainly on the feet of Jerry Reinsdorf, Michael Reinsdorf, and that overrated ass front office that we all crowned as Bulls fans way too early, Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley. And I don't know if it was Mikey or Bang who said this, but what the fuck is Mark Eversley? Did they kidnap this nigga? I haven't seen him in front of a television screen in a long
damn. It wasn't me because I forgot that nigga existed.
Well, yeah, it was somebody. I don't know who said. I don't know if it was somebody on.
It was definitely me. That motherfucker AI. He not a real person.
Mark Eversley is AI, but he's not the main problem, but he's part of the problem. Zach LaVine, I'm not going to use his contract against him. If you pay any attention to actually pay attention to not just the NBA, but sports, contracts, especially max contracts, have nothing to do with the player's actual skill. It's about the market, setting the market. So that's what it's about. So based on the market, Zach LaVine got paid and he deserves the money he get paid. My problem is this trade is going to happen. We had Chris Deloff on earlier, and he said that, he thinks that, one of them two should go. He's not going to be a Bull this time next year. They're just waiting for December 15th to go. So certain players who can't be traded can be traded. I just don't like you going through. I don't like you being rude for no damn reason. You know what I'm saying? These PR people, they're just doing their fucking jobs. They're trying to get the interview, try to get it done. You can treat them a little bit better. And the way he's, talking and, just really just kind of, just going through this shit is some soft ass shit. I'm just going to say it. I know we have a problem saying soft. You can't say soft. Mental health matters, but it's some soft ass shit. I don't like what I saw. I feel like that he should know that you're only going to be on this team a little bit longer. Just get through this team and you can go over there and you can ruin somebody else's shit. Like, that's just really how it is. He's not that kind of guy. He's not that kind of player. You're not Dame Lillard. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you even have a list of teams who you think you should be traded to is fucking hilarious. They're going to send you to the team that's going to give the Bulls the best fucking, picks or players back. That's what it's going to be. And as a Bulls fan, as just an observer of sports, I can't wait for him to be on another team. I'm ready for this experience to be over. Y'all all know how documented I feel about that Jimmy Butler trade. I didn't like that shit 6 years ago. I hate it even worse now. To see Jimmy go to 2 NBA finals, to see, we got Larry Marketing, but then we couldn't develop Larry Marketing. Larry Marketing is a star. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, and buts about that shit. He was an all-star last year. He's probably going to be an all-star again this year. One thing I never thought I'd hear, Kevin Durant, Larry Marketing, duel on NBA.com highlights. I never thought I'd see that in my life. He is there. To see him there. The only thing is, and then you trade for Chris Dunn, who's probably working in Mariano's right now. I don't know what the fuck Chris Dunn is doing. And then we get the shit we've been getting from Zach LaVine. So I hate that trade even more. But the Bulls just need to cut their losses, send this dude to wherever can get you the best package back, and just move the fuck on, man. I'm tired of the Bulls. I'm tired of Arturas Karnisovas. I'm tired of Mark Eversley. Tired of Jerry Reinsdorf, and I'm especially tired of Zach LaVine. So, Zach, you are my Goofy Mog of the week. That is all we have for the main hour of this show. I want to thank everybody who's watched, man. This is about to be 3 months done with the show, the new format. The views and streaming numbers have gotten bigger and bigger each week. We appreciate all the support. Shout out to everybody watching us on Facebook right now. Shout out to Facebook for actually fixing their streaming shit, because I wasn't able to stream on Facebook for a couple months. I'm glad we got that back up and going. Just in case y'all want to know, we will not be on the air on Friday. There will not be any I'm not going to hold you halftime on Wednesday. We will be back in 2 weeks on Monday, December 4th, and we'll be back to our regular schedule for that, because it's going to be the holidays. I'm going to be drinking a lot of alcohol. I'm going to be eating a lot of food. They'll probably cut my life short at age 55. But it is fucking Thanksgiving. That's what it's for, man. So we appreciate everybody for watching. We back then. We're about to start I'm Not Going to Hold You Overtime, which, of course, is the second hour. I just changed the branding name. And we're going to be talking about the Bears-Lions game, things going with that. And then we're also going to be talking about a little bit of Cubs. Shohei Ohtani about to get into a bidding war with the Dodgers and the Cubs. We're going to talk about that on the Patreon. Subscribe right now at patreon.com/BarberChair Network. I am your host, Scott. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarberChair Scott. You can follow Dante on Twitter at October Zone Tay. You can follow Mikey at Junior_Salito, and of course you follow JR Bang everything on all platforms, man. So we'll holler at y'all in 2 weeks, and if you're a Patreon subscriber, we'll holler at y'all in a couple hours when the episode is up. We up out here.
That paper on display, I haters old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line.